Hey ladies, I am Deepti Jain, and I'm so excited you all tuned in here today to join me. I am a mompreneur and I help other mompreneurs start and grow their businesses online. Now, today I'm going to be chatting about something that comes up over and over again because it's actually one of the biggest obstacles standing in the way of us mompreneurs. Guess what that is? Time, or actually, the lack of time. There are only 24 hours in a day, right, ladies? Only 24 hours in a day. And the issue is that, hang on one second. Yeah, there we go. And the issue is that some of us, all of us actually, find ourselves stretched way too thin, way too thin. I mean, there are always a million things to be done, right? The kids' lunches have to be made, the groceries have to be done, cooking, cleaning, blah, blah, blah. And in all this, you'll notice I haven't even mentioned work, leave alone your own business, because many of us actually try to juggle a job, sometimes even a full time job, with starting our own online business. So, put all of that together, and it's not a surprise, right, that we find ourselves really stretched thin, and lack of time is one of the biggest issues that we face over and over again. Yet, even though there are only 24 hours in the day, it seems like some of us do a much better job at making those 24 hours go way longer, way, way longer. Hi, Lizzie. Thanks for joining. So, how is it that some of those people manage to do that and we don't? So, I have some tips that I'm going to share with you about time management that I seem to think work amazingly well, at least in my experience. Okay. All right. So, let's go ahead and get started. And if you're ready to hear those three tips, go ahead and give me a hashtag ready. And we're going to go ahead and dive into the three tips for juggling your time successfully. Ready? All right. First tip, the very first tip, ladies, is to plan. It's all in the planning. Ladies, it is all in the planning. Believe me when I say this. I've heard this saying, and I use it over and over again in my own life actually. If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. I really believe that. I actually really live by that. I set myself little micro goals, and I set deadlines along with that, and I really, really try to stick to that plan, because if we don't plan well enough, it's never going to happen. If we say we're going to work on our business when we have the time, guess what? It is literally never going to happen, because there is never going to be a time in your busy, busy life as a mompreneur where you're going to say, okay, I have nothing to do. Now let me work on my business. You see what I mean? So, the number one tip I have for you is to plan. Okay? The number two tip, ladies, the number two tip is to set boundaries. And personally, this is the one that I struggle most with. I can get the planning done and everything, but the setting boundaries as a mom is really difficult. And I had to work on it for a long time before I kind of succeed now. I wouldn't even say I 100% succeed now, but I kind of succeed now. And that is setting boundaries. Setting boundaries, because kids, I mean, at least mine, I'll tell you, really couldn't care less if I'm working or not. If I'm home, I'm mom and I'm available. And I work from my home office all the time, right? So it becomes so difficult, because even if they see I'm on a phone call, right? Not, I should say this in the past tense, they don't do that anymore. Even if they saw that I was on a phone call, they'd be like, Mom, can we hungry? Can you give us this? Can you do this? Oh, Mom, this happened, that happened. I got hurt, blah, blah, blah. It is so difficult to set those boundaries. Then, a friend of mine, a guy, actually told me about this. He would also work from home, but he actually really set boundaries. He had a home office, like I do, but when he went in there, he would actually put on a badge, like a badge that you do when you go to work, right? An actual badge, and it would say at work or in the office. And he says, when I had that badge on in my neck, nobody was supposed to bother me. It was like I was at work. So he really set his boundaries well. Now, I'll be honest, I don't really do the badge thing, but I do have this rule that when I'm in the office and my door is shut, it is supposed to be as though I've gone to work, like away from home, gone to work. So try setting those boundaries. I think it makes a huge difference when you don't keep getting interrupted during your work time by kids, right? So that's tip number two, set boundaries. Moving on to tip number three, that is to cut yourself some slack. cutting yourself some slack is critical because when you plan, like I said in tip number one, or when you set your boundaries, like I said in tip number two, it is going to be the case that you're not going to succeed 100%. That's just the way life works, especially life with kids around, life as a mompreneur. You're not going to be able to meet your plan head on. You're not going to be able to keep those boundaries really rigid. And so, tip number three is to cut yourself some slack. Give yourself a little slack. Don't be too hard on yourself because that is another problem we mompreneurs really have. We judge ourselves so harshly, right? It's like, oh my God, I didn't even get that done. Oh my God, I didn't even cook dinner tonight. Where did you take out again? Oh my God, now I'm not going to do this well. Now I'm not going to do that well. So cut yourself some slack, and that'll take you a long way. So that is tip number three. So, recapping really quickly, tip number one was to plan. Tip number two was to set some boundaries. And tip number three is to cut yourself some slack. Okay, that's it. Now, I do have today a handout, okay, which basically is. Hang on a second, my computer is behaving so weirdly today. I'm getting all these things where I'm getting this program wants to upload, this program wants to upload. That's why I kind of look here and there today, which I don't typically do, but this is what we have. Anyway, I have a handout for you guys, which relates to the 5 most common obstacles standing in the way of mompreneurs and what to do about them. And yes, so one of them, of course, is time management, but I went into that one in much more detail today. You'll see what the other ones are and see if you can relate to those and what's going on over there. To download that one, simply go to deeptijanconsulting.com/common obstacles. deeptijanconsulting.com/common obstacles. Okay, and you'll be able to get that handout over there. And you can go there right now. You should be able to get that handout right away. I think you'll find it interesting to see what else other mompreneurs find to be a problem. And you'll see, I think, that you relate a lot to at least a few of those things. And that's it for today, ladies. One last thing, as always, remember, we can and we will. Until next time.